I have always felt like it is my responsibility as somebody that has found success in this industry to pass that along to people. I think I realized I wanted to get into the photography education space specifically after watching photographers that I looked up to for a really long time having success. A lot of the photographers at the time were working with a West Coast market. Even a lot of the presets that I was purchasing were being formulated for photos taken on a different coast than where I lived. But I felt like I had a unique experience being 21 years old in South Carolina, starting my business and just figuring it out along the way. I'm Duncan. I'm a wedding photographer in Manhattan in New York City. I started shooting weddings about 10 years ago. I had a friend that was getting married and she knew that I loved photography and she knew that I owned a nice camera and that I was interested in photographing people. And they paid me $300 and trusted me to come and photograph their wedding, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. I was living in Greenville, South Carolina. I photographed weddings there for about 9 years, and I just moved to New York City 2 years ago. I love the chaos of shooting here so much. I love the traffic, and I love the people walking, and I love shooting with like horns blaring in the background and like a fire truck driving down the street and I can't hear my couple. When I started my business, I had some photographers mentor me, and I just had such a tangible example of not being able to progress in my business without, specifically women that went before me, have always felt like it is my responsibility as somebody that has found success in this industry to pass that along to people. So my most recent project were my photography presets. I had created my own editing process just over the last 10, 11 years, and so I wanted to kind of simplify that into a way that I could sell it to other photographers. When I was creating presets, I really just went into every different lighting and color scenario that I was running into on a consistent basis. So I literally have named these after the photos that they're based off of, if that makes sense. So like, I've got a Manhattan preset that I use anytime I'm shooting in the city. I've got a Brooklyn preset for when I'm shooting on the water with the skyline in the background. It's like a little bit brighter, it has some more blues, it's a little filmy. I've got one for Central Park that's specifically created with greens in mind. People can purchase those, they can use them to edit their photos. They'll look pretty similar to how I edit my own because I use them as well. I have a location guide for a few different cities. I've essentially created a PDF that people can purchase that has photographs of each location that I photograph my own clients and tells them exactly where it is down to like the street corner and like what direction to look. So I have a mini version that's just like probably around 15 places that you can shoot if you're just here on a quick trip. And then I have a full version that is 19 pages of places to go. So it's a little bit more in depth. This is one of the spots on my New York City location guide. So we're on the Upper West Side. We're shooting in front of some brownstones right now. I specifically love this block because we're really close to Central Park. Central Park is less than a block away from here. So for my couples that want to shoot in the park and also get some variety either with brownstones or with like getting the city vibes in Lincoln Center, this is a really good spot for that. I have a wedding party posing guide. I feel like a lot of photographers don't have experience working with large groups until you have to do it. But it's hard to kind of learn that on the job, like as you're going through somebody's wedding day. And so I wanted people to feel like they had a grasp of what directing those large groups on a wedding day would look like. I essentially wanted it to feel like you were second shooting with me on a wedding day because that's a request I get a lot, is to shadow a wedding day or follow along for the experience and just to see how I approach things. And so I wanted to put this specifically into a guide. I have a picture example of each one so that you could really pull this up on your phone as you're shooting and just go down the line if you needed to. So a few years ago, I also took some time with a graphic designer friend of mine and we collaborated on a guide that I personally send to all of my clients when they book me, and it goes through what making a wedding day timeline looks like, what making a shot list looks like. We've just put it all in like a beautiful little package, and then people can purchase it either with my exact wording that I send to my clients or just a blank template, and it's essentially just like a graphic design package. One part of my business that I'm also just, I think, the most passionate about are the workshops that I plan and like the styled shoots that I put together for other photographers to attend. I wanted other people to have the opportunity to plan their own styled shoots and not feel like they could only attend mine. And so I just made a quick little guide. We go through the different types of styled shoots, why you might want to host a styled shoot, figuring out what your personal goal is through all of it. I give you a checklist, so it goes through finding your inspiration, building it into a mood board, how to figure out where and who you're going to host with, the checklist of things that you need to look at ordering, where to find outfits from, where I specifically find all of my details from. Most of the products that I was creating were filling a gap in my own business, and they were going to be a way that I could better serve my own couples, and then I wanted to share that with other people. So for most of my guides or my digital products that I've created, I either did it for a specific photographer that was asking a question that I knew I could help them with, or something that I wanted to send to my own people.
Hi, Anna Duncan. Welcome to Stand Story.
I think if somebody wanted to get into the photography education sphere, my biggest advice would be not to replicate what you've seen other people do successfully, and really sit down and figure out what are the questions that you're being asked. For me, it was a lot about what locations I'm shooting at, group photos, and it was my editing. And so that's why those were the first 3 things that I created. I would just start small. I would just start with not even a sellable good. I would just start with posting content to build your voice as an educator. I don't think that everybody can just jump in and start selling products. I do think it takes building a level of trust and building a level of credibility as a voice in the education world. And that doesn't mean you have to have a big platform. That just means, like, even if you have 20 followers, those 20 followers know that what you are giving them is valuable. I think it can be really beneficial to go slow, share what you have to share, do it in a way that's beneficial for your audience. Even if that means you don't make a single dollar from it for a long time, and just build your voice. And then eventually those people are gonna be so eager, and they're gonna be first in line to buy, just because you've invested so much time in educating them without asking them to invest in you. I think that one of the biggest hurdles when I was creating my storefront was just all of the research that went into it, figuring out like where the best place to sell my products were. There were still multiple steps that people were having to take to get from my page to my storefront. And so in comparison, setting up my stand store felt so easy, and just being able to have everything live in one place in such a simplified way that gets people from my page to the storefront in far less steps has been really, really nice and really refreshing.
Yay, that's your store. That's actually so easy. It's so easy. Genuinely.
I think my favorite part of being an educator is the other photographers that I get to meet and connect with, and then also just the way that I see my own business reflected in theirs, whether it was 6 months ago, whether it was 10 years ago. Like, I just see little bits of my own journey, and to be able to like watch them take steps and get better and get more confident and more comfortable is just the most special thing. There are some like more in-depth courses that I'm really, really excited about that I've been wanting to do for a few years. Things that I used to teach in person that I'm going to translate into a digital space. I'm really excited about that. And then just in my personal life, I'm excited about slowing down, shooting locally, not traveling as much, and being with my family and being a mom and a wife and a business owner, and just connecting with my life here in Manhattan. I need a compilation of all the times we have to pause for trucks. This is how my sessions go too, though. Like, it's so stop and go. It's just, oh my God, there's so many buses.